Hello and welcome back to the PTR. So this time it's going to be General Nazgrim. This is LFR difficulty, however, the way the fight is with LFR and the way everything is scaled, it kind of may as well be normal, to be honest. I was in 3 groups that got to this boss, and even with 10 stacks of determination, no one was able to kill him. So yes, firstly, if you're wondering why everyone's DPS is awful, it's because we're all scaled down to level 476 gear, so if you're used to like seeing actual raiders, always pulling out like 300k or crazy shit like that, well, not going to happen in LFR, at least, the PTR version, because it's scaled down for testing reasons. Now, Nazgrim is an example of a boss that's really well designed, really fun, has interesting mechanics, and is absolutely god-awful on the not the LFR, well, yes, on the LFR. So, as you can see, I'll just give you a brief overview of what's going on here. Every once in a while he will summon adds to him, so I suppose that's fair enough, you understand what that is. Now the adds, they do various things, damage the players, do blade storms, there's one that drops healing tokens, heals the other adds, and then there's one called an assassin which will focus on a player, and then it'll be stealth, and then once it gets to them on stealth and it stabs them, so you have to run away from them. Now they're all fine, you just kill them. Of course, half the problem is actually coordinating people to kill them. Now, you can see these axes spinning around the place on the screen there. The way they work is that he has a rage bar. Now, right now it's 0, but it pretty much goes up over time. And he expends rage by doing abilities. As you can see, I nearly get myself killed by one of them. Now, the thing is that it's one of those bosses where if there's like a 30 rage ability, a 50 rage ability, a 70 rage ability, and then a 100 rage ability, which just kills everyone. So, now his usual rage abilities, I think they're like that he leaps at a player and that expels some rage, and there's another one that he throws one of these axes. Now, that would usually be okay, there'd be a manageable amount of axes. Now the problem is he has different stances. There's battle stance where he just gains 1 rage a second. Then there's defensive stance where he gains rage whenever players attack him. Now this is at the LFR, so as you can probably imagine, that's a really bad mechanic for LFR. Because what happens is, he goes into defensive stance and you just see his rage skyrocket, and then the entire room is full of multiple of these stupid axes, which, quite frankly, just murder everyone. Like right now, I think there's 3. I was in an attempt where basically half the room was a spinning axe of some sort, and most of the players were, very dead. It doesn't work on LFR, and Blizzard, you see, they need to understand the problem with LFR is that there is 0 communication, and people don't owe each other anything, sort of, and they don't really care about each other because they're never going to see each other again. Of course you do get the exceptions, that being the nice people who, jump in and they help people out. Now the problem is, in that environment, you can't try to force people to coordinate to, say, not do DPS on a stage like that. And it's funny because I know that they did 25-man. They did 25-man to minimize the effects of idiots. I would like to see what would happen if these were like a 10-man and there was more. If it was 10 people, there'd be far more tight communication because, well, if you're in a room with 10 people, you're going to sort of get to know those 10 people better than, say, if it's 25. Which might mean that people would be able to, say, hey, listen up, you can't do this, and there's only 10 of us here, only 6 of us are DPS, so, you kind of have to listen. Now, that, of course, doing the 10-man scenario would have a whole host of other problems, but you can definitely see that in a communication standpoint, in a fight like this, it's very hard with 25 people, especially when only a few of them attacking the boss can lead to an unmanageable amount of these axes whirling around. And really, what can you do about it? Make the axes so trivial in terms of their damage you don't need to stand out with them? It's just so hard to make this LFR content engaging while still maintaining mechanics that matter on bosses. That's the problem. Most of the bosses that are okay on LFR are like that because the mechanics don't matter anymore. The bosses where the mechanics do matter, like Duramu, Primordius, Horadon if your tank's an idiot and just stands in the middle. The fights where the mechanics do matter are the fights that annoy people on LFR because of idiots fucking it up. I'm sure a lot of you guys have tried to kill, say, Sol the Sandcrawler, the 3rd boss. Now this, no, not a problem at the minute, but back in the day, there you go, I died because I was stupid. But I'm sure you remember when people wouldn't nuke down SoO and then you'd get the ad phase and everyone would die and it would just be impossible to coordinate anything because there's always, this percentage of maybe 50% of the raid won't listen to anyone. So yeah, LFR, it's very hard when you introduce mechanics like this. Now on normal mode I think this boss is actually going to be fantastic fun, but right now on LFR something needs to change and I don't really know what it is. I mean, for the, just to make sure that it doesn't quote-unquote hurt people, I think they should probably try to trivialize the mechanic. Maybe just make his defensive stance a damage reduction on the boss instead of a rage regen thing, because I think the rage regen is sadly asking too much. I say sadly because it really shouldn't, but anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you take something away from my opinion. See you later.